right, so you have just learned a little bit about wind energy and wind turbines. So now we're going to put some of that knowledge to the test with this wind energy virtual lab. So what you're going to do, and it says it right here in case you forget, your challenge is to create a turbine that will supply 400 homes with electricity for a year at the highest efficiency and lowest cost. So that means that we don't want these to cost a lot of money. We want to save as much money as possible while still getting these 400 homes electricity for a year. So you'll see the link to this below. You can go ahead and click on it once we're done with this video. And you can read through the introduction here and click begin. And it's going to tell you a little bit about what this activity is all about. You're going to build a turbine. You're going to make decisions about it. Okay, so the goal, like we said, is to supply 400 homes with the energy from the wind turbine. Okay, if you need some more information, you can click right here, and the company that created this will give you some more information about their products and how they affect wind turbines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. My goal, I already know, is to try to get 400 homes energy. So there's 3 different places that you can put your wind turbine. So we have offshore, plains, and the hills. And each one will explain. Offshore talks about how the cost might be a little bit higher. It's got some weather condition issues. The plains cost might be a little bit lower, but there's some maintenance. Some of the maintenance and installations doesn't have as big of issues as offshore. So each one will talk about the pros and cons. So I'm just going to pick the hills. Okay. So now we have the blade design. You can go through and choose blade length, pitch, the airfoil shape. If you don't know what some of these things are, you can definitely Google them, or that click here button on the previous page. That will give you some information on each of these, as well as some of the URLs that were on the first page. So if you need to go back, you can go back and look through those as well. Okay, so I'm just going to pick some of these at random. I think maybe if it's a little bit higher, I remember reading that if they were taller, that they were better. Okay, so I'm just picking some of these. I'm not going to give you the right answer on this. This is something that you're going to have to go through and test yourself. But once you've decided on some of these, I want you to think about each one and why it's important. So you're going to click test. So I was able to power 376 homes with the decisions that I made, but that doesn't get to my 400. So I'm going to change I want to change some of these to get to that 400, but I don't want to change all of them at once, because then I'm not going to know which one made the difference, which one made the amount of homes that I was able to power more or less. So I'm just going to change one thing at a time. Those are called variables, and that talks about it right here. We want to control it as much as possible so we know what's changed. So I'm going to go to blade twist right here and say no, I don't want that. And then I'm going to test it again. It's going to calculate it. Okay, so that went down. So my thought is, all right, at this point, blade twist is a good thing, so we're going to move that back. Okay, then I'm going to maybe move to the airfoil shape, and I want to move it to super thin. And I'm going to test it from here. Remember, we had 313 homes. It stayed the same. So it seems like with the blade twist and all the other variables that I have at this point, the thinness of the airfoil does not matter as much. Okay, so what I want you to do is you're going to test this and try to get it over 400. That's going to be your first goal. Okay, once you get it over 400, you can click next. All right, and then 3M, that's the company that made this, they're talking about different materials. And in the introduction, that click here button that I talked about, it will talk about the resin, film filler, protection tape, and the bonding adhesive. Okay, and that could change some of what we have. And it'll tell you up top here in that red that's showing up every time I hover over one of these, it tells you a little bit about it. Okay, so like our bonding adhesive, it's got impact resistance, durability, so I'm going to decide I want that on there, and I'm going to test it. You can add all of them, you can add some, just to see what it does for you, okay? And click next. It's going to actually show you, look at all those wind turbines up in the hills that I just created. Okay, it's going to show you all the homes that you've just lit up. Okay, so this is my first design. It gives me all of the information that I from the wind turbine that I created here. Okay, you can start a new design, you can go back and revise one. At this point, what you're going to do, I want your first design to have over 400 homes powered. You don't need to have the maximum amount, I just want you to have over 400. That's your goal. And remember, try to control your variables. Don't change them all at once. That's something I want you to think about. Okay, then once you have your 400 here, what you're going to do is go back and do 2 more designs. Maybe try something, I would try something offshore, and maybe I would do a shorter wind turbine with different airfoil shapes. I'm going to try these different things and see what the differences are. And I want you to write down in your science journals, take some notes, record some data. I want you to write down your observations, what you think the differences are, and I want you to try to make the best wind turbine you can. I want you to make the one that is going to power the most homes, okay? And that'll be part of a discussion that we'll have later. Okay, and then once you're done with this, what you're going to do is you're going to export the data and you're going to bring it to class so that way we can talk about it.